Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for dropping by today's podcast. Hope you all are doing well. Hope you all had a great week. See a few people here in chat ready to get going. Got Islander over here in the Discord. Looking forward to having a good discussion with y'all. For today's podcast, we're going to be going over what we know so far of update 6.2, which should be dropping, I'm guessing, probably sometime this week. And then matchmaking. I think most of you saw a video come out from Pixonic kind of explaining matchmaking, and we'll go ahead and discuss that a little bit further. And then thought we would talk a little bit about targeting system. I know that's kind of a major issue for most of us, and it looks like they were at least trying to address it somewhat in this weekend's test server. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But we'll also give you a quick update for the Android tournament that is going on this weekend. It is looking to wrap up here shortly, but I can give you an update for the matches that have already completed anyway. But let's go ahead and get Islander into the mix here, and we will get things running. Hey, what's up, Eddie? How you doing?
What's going on, Chief? How are you, brother?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
Looking forward to hopefully this week getting an update. 6.2.
Yep. Seems like it's right here. Yeah. Although there was some corrections made, but I guess we're going to be talking about that pretty soon.
Right. And also on the agenda for today is matchmaking. I know you put out a video kind of breaking down Pixonic's video of them trying to explain matchmaking, and then targeting system, which is getting some kind of adjustment on the test server this weekend. So those are two pretty big topics that I think most of the community is usually bothered by. So we'll see what they have to think about it. But before we get too much into the discussion, I did want to go over the update for the Android tournament that's going on.
Yeah, that started. It's rocking and rolling already.
Right, and I have some pictures here I can bring up here real quick. Let me find the right button to click on. There we go. All right. So that's a little cut off, but I think you can see most of what is needed here on the picture. But this is the Icarus breakdown, and it looks like Malaysia and America met up in round 2, and America ended up taking the win. Option 1 and Clan Ouka went head-to-head, and Option 1 came out on top there. So it looks like America and Option 1 are going to be fighting for the Icarus title. We've got Yandi Ventures. Looks like Spartan Elite and WR Thailand made it to round 2, but WR Thailand came out on top of that matchup. And then we've got Elite Outlaws, Sinister Sages went head-to-head in round 2 with Elite Outlaw coming on top. So we've got a final face-off with for the Yandi Ventures title between Thailand and Elite Outlaw.
Yeah, that's going to be a good matchup.
Going over to DSC. The DSC bracket had NS Dark Elite facing off against the Warriors for round 2, and the Warriors came out on top there. NLD1 went against Artemis, and Artemis came out on top. So we'll see who takes the DSC title between Warriors and Artemis.
Yeah, that Dark Elite, that the Warriors win over the Dark Elite there, that was a shocker. That was a good win. I like to see the Warriors pull it off and come out on top of this bracket. I'm rooting for them now.
Right. To be honest, I'm not familiar with most of these clans, but I have caught a couple of the videos that were posted on Zox's channel, and some of the matches were pretty good.
And his Dark Elite is one of the higher clans, the top echelon clans in Android. So it was a surprise to see them get knocked off.
Nice. All right, so we've got moving over to Space Tech. We've got Tiger Kings win against Mammy. Mammy ended up on top there, and the Symbiote. I don't know if it's supposed to be Symbiotics or Symbiotes or Symbiotes. Whatever their clan is, went against Saw, but Saw ended up taking the win there. So Mammy and Saw will be facing off for the Space Tech final. Got Evo Life up next. Royal Warriors went against Goldmine. Goldmine came out victorious. LSD and Pakistan faced off with LSD taking the win. So a final matchup there between Goldmine and LSD. I don't have the completed Bastions here, but I do have the round 2 matchups for you guys, and that was Antisocial and Nothing P were facing off in round 2, and Poor Team went against Gods Corp in round 2. I don't know if these two were, maybe some late matchups, but I haven't heard a winner from those. Has Gods played their second matchup?
I'm not sure they played the second matchup. Yeah, I mean, I know that Gods won their first round earlier in the early morning, and they were trying to set up the match with POR, but I don't know if they are able actually to set it up or not. So that's still pending. I'll try to get a Discord and see if I can find out.
Right on. Well, should be some good matchups either way, and as you guys can see, the winners of these different brackets are going to end up facing each other to decide the winner overall. Places 1 through 6, and the first 4 clans will end up taking home prizes. So good luck to any of the clans out there that are still pending some matches. But I did want to go over that with you guys real quick before we get too much into it. And Zarathustra, thank you so much for the donation there. He says that Islander is his favorite YouTuber.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you for the donation. Appreciate that, brother.
He's in my clan, but Islander's his favorite YouTuber. It's all good. All right, so I guess we can go ahead and jump right into update 6.2, kind of discuss a little bit of what we've seen. Pixonic did put out a video earlier this week that had some kind of limited information in it. Some things we could see just from watching the video, and I think that's going to tie into some of what you were talking about, some changes. And I think the biggest takeaway from that is in the video it did clearly show the Hawk, and it was for update 6.2. So but unfortunately they did come out afterwards on their Facebook page and say that the Hawk is actually going to be delayed a little bit, so it's not going to come out as soon as we see the update. Hey, what's up, Zox?
You might a 6.2.1, something like that, occur. I'm not sure what's actually going on with the Hawk. They may need some more tweaking. I'm not sure. I really thought we were going to get it in 6.2. Every source I had told me we were going to get it in 6.2 till the very end. I said, nope. They just put out a statement that we're not going to get out. Well, hell, I just put the video out and said we're going to get it. So I look bad.
Well, I mean, there's a little bit of controversy kind of going around with the Hawk and its ability, I guess, having its...
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Chief. I do like the Hawk, all right? And I think it should have maybe something like an added effect as far as when it hits a Titan, it gets like double the damage or triple the damage or whatever you want to call it, okay? So it affects the Titans. But if it were to attack a standard bot, then it has, it goes down to +1. You know what I mean? So right. It doesn't quite do the same amount of damage to a standard bot that it will do a Titan, because that's all you're going to see on the field, Chief. You're going to see people running 5 Hawks because of the amount of damage they can put out with them.
Right, and I agree completely. I think it needs to have some kind of a differentiation between a normal robot that it's going against and a Titan. I mean, especially since it reflects damage already back against the regular robots. I would prefer that just go away, but I think they're definitely set on keeping it. And if that's the case, maybe then the built-in ability should just not do any kind of damage, to the or defense bypass or defense mitigation to regular robots. I think that should just go strictly against the Titans because
Right, I agree. As far as the repulse, I would like to see the repulse that it has only also affect Titans. If a Titan is shooting it, then it gets dealt back its own damage. If a standard bot is shooting it, hey, let them battle it out. It's a standard bot. It's got good weapons on it. It's got good mobility. Don't give it extra advantage over the standard bots. That part I don't like. I mean, I do like the idea of we have a standard bot now that can battle the Titans. That's great. But if you're going to use this brand new bot to bully around all the other bots, then we're going in the same sequence that we had before. So I'm just not a fan of it.
Right. Kind of like what MixFan was saying in chat. I don't really think it's the so-called Titan killer, and I agree. As of right now on the test server, it's really not all that strong against Titans, but it's hella strong against regular robots, and that's where we're going to see exactly what Islander's talking about, with people just loading 5 of these things into their hangar, and it's going to be even more boring than Ravana's. In my opinion, just everybody hiding and then wait for their ability, fly up, hopefully sucker somebody into shooting them. But I don't know. I'd kind of like to see the Hawk come with the event that they are planning, but I can also respect the fact that they do want to maybe take a little bit longer look and try and get it right. So
I agree, and they should take a nice long look. Go ahead and delay it. 6.3, 6.0, maybe 7.0. I mean, hell, let's delay the shit out of this one. I don't know.
Well,
they need to get it right. They need to get it right before they release this thing into the general population, because you already have a frustrated player base, all right, with everything going on. Last thing we need to do is put icing on top of the cake or cherry on top of the ice cream, and just really piss off a lot of players. So we need to try to keep our player base as happy as possible, or without going overboard. So let's see what they do with it.
Right. I mean, I agree. I think everybody's ready for something to take on the Titans, because they're kind of out of control at this point. and the longer we wait on that, the stronger everybody's Titan is going to get, except for those folks that went ahead and maxed it out with Visa. But everybody else is eventually going to catch them. But I do think some folks are just kind of ready for some kind of a legitimate counter to Titans. But I would hate to see them rush it out to the live server just to have the next 6 months be nothing but this one robot, and then the whole meta is going to be upset, the whole community is going to be pissed off, and nobody's going to be having fun.
Exactly.
A couple of things other things though, with the rollout of the next update, we should be getting the summer event, which I don't even honestly remember what the heck it's called. I've always called it the 4th of July event, but I know not everybody has. Not everybody that plays War Robots knows what the 4th of July is, but it's usually tailored somewhat to the U.S. population as far as it being kind of a 4th of July event. So I am expecting a new event, and the current event does end in a day and a half. So
right, it's just about done. So we're rounding the corner on this current event. I'm still not a real big fan of the back-to-back events. All right, but they are doing it. It has been working this way. I'm assuming it's working for them. But I would like to see a little bit of spacing. There's just so many different updates that come in and so fast that we kind of got it away from the fact that we're trying to get them to slow things down a little bit, instead it seems like we're still going at the same pace.
Oh, come on now. They've definitely slowed things down. I mean, they were talking about giving new robots to the workshop within 2 months of their release, and now it's up to like 6 months before it hits the workshop. So they're definitely slowing something down.
They're slowing things down in the wrong direction.
But, no, I mean, I personally, I don't mind the back-to-back events. It does give folks a little more opportunity, because they do have the daily tasks. So the free-to-play folks, do get more opportunities to pick some things up in it. I think my biggest complaint with the events is take the damn components out, please, and also get rid of Virginia Walker. Thank you. And I know some of you are going to say you want Virginia Walker still, but here's the thing. If they take Virginia Walker out of the event, they're going to stick her in the pilot pool where you could just buy her. Okay? So it would...
$2,500 gold and she's all yours.
It will help those that still want it instead of, crossing your fingers and hoping that you get the one thing out of the event that you want. But come on, I mean, she's been in that. Or in the last 3 or 4 events. Yeah, it's time to take the Nightingale out. Get rid of that pilot.
I've had a total of 17 of Virginia Walkers. I got clone after clone after clone after clone of her. So yeah, I'm ready to see her go as well.
But some things that I'm expecting that we will get in the next event are going to be the legendary pilot for the new robot Scorpion, as well as the new robot Scorpion. So I do expect both of those to be in the next event. We still don't know exactly what the effect of the legendary Scorpion pilot is going to be. There's rumors out there that it's like a heal after the teleport or something. I don't know, but we won't really know until it goes live. And then I also did catch a couple of limited edition weapons in the little teaser that they released on the video. It looks like a limited edition Quarker and limited edition Nucleon. Some folks were telling me that we'll get a limited edition atomizer as well, but I didn't see one in the trailer, and we've already had a limited edition atomizer in the game.
We just got one of those.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll get another. And then I did see what appeared to be a new paint skin for the Leech. Some folks were also telling me, no, that's a limited edition Leech, but once again, we've already had a limited edition Leech, and usually limited edition robots come out in the operations, not in the events. So
when I do those videos, I normally don't point out all of the Easter eggs. I like to read the comment section and just have the flood of comments come in saying, hey, Islander, you missed this, or hey, you missed that, or hey, did you see that picture? They had a dinosaur sitting on his thing. And I don't know if you remember or not, but a while back I released a video about a potential dinosaur robot, and that was a rumor that came out way back. Well, the same guy that gave me the information way back when, of course, came screaming back at me and said, look, there's a dinosaur. We're definitely getting a dinosaur bot now. I said, I think that's more for their new game that they just released. It's an Easter egg for that. But with Pixonic, you just never know. We may see some kind of dino bot come into the game. It's been rumored for a very, very long time. So we're just waiting. It's kind of like the Bastion. It's just there.
Oh, I could see like a dino-styled robot coming in, maybe as the third in this series, because we have the Scorpion, which is, an insect. We've got a hawk, which is an animal. And then, why not a dinosaur? They usually kind of keep some kind of a theme similarity with them, but never know. That's really all I know of with the next update, with that event anyway. We may see, some additional paint skins. There usually is an extra 1 or 2 in there. I do assume that we'll probably still see the what is it? The what is it? The unit, the module.
Oh, the Overdrive?
Yeah, the Overdrive. I imagine that's probably going to be in the next event as well, even though I think it would probably be better for them to bring it just to the store and let people start buying it at this point. But I think they're gonna suck a little bit more off of that one for a little longer anyway. But yeah.
I've run into a few people running 3 of them, and they're brutal. It is a brutal. Once you stack up 3 of them, you better have something to counter that, because they pack a serious punch. Even if you're running maxed out, heavy armors, and it doesn't matter. They're gonna chew right through it. So I was when I went head to head with one, and I was running, I think, 2 armors and a last stand. It didn't last very long. It got chewed up.
Right.
It's a big punch.
One thing that is a little bit interesting with this next release of robots is you've got the Hawk and you've got the Scorpion, and if you look at it, the Scorpion is actually a counter to the Hawk. I think the Hawk is definitely going to be the stronger of the 2 robots, but the Scorpion is definitely a direct counter to it, because with the Hawk, you have to play it pretty much like you do in Ao June. Look for cover for when your ability ends, and try and stay safe for the next 20 seconds or so before you can take off again. But with the Scorpion, all you got to do is hang out and wait for him to land, and then blink over to him, kill him, and go on about your business. So
and bring right back and get ready to do it over again. And that's the same counter that we were running on with going up against the Ao Junes, going up against the Phantoms. I mean, with the Phantom, as soon as you teleport back and you lose your resistance, you can expect the Scorpion to be knocking on your back door, and he's gonna hurt you. He's gonna hurt you pretty good.
Yeah, I think the Scorpion is going to counter some of the current meta robots. Probably not going to do overly well going against tanks, but it will definitely knock out any pesky campers that you run into. And anything like an Ao June or a Phantom, a Leech, it can easily blink in and knock them out.
Yeah.
So
it's not going to do so good against some of the bigger tank bots. It's not going to do very well against the Ravana, just because the amount of phase shifting that it has. So I still don't see anything really countering the Ravana with all those phase shifts.
Yeah, no, I don't think either of these robots will be a counter to the Ravana. I think the Ravana is probably going to stay a dominant bot, at least for most of the top players, the real competitive folks. They're probably going to keep at least a couple of Ravanas in their hangar for a while. Though I do suspect that some folks can easily make the transition from their Ao June to the Hawk. I think we'll see a lot of that.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I don't know. You might see a few less Phantoms running around. I mean, I've already seen a lot of Phantoms kind of disappearing from the battlefield as more folks are opting to start with or run beacons with a Blitz or even the Nightingale. I mean, the Nightingale is a really strong robot.
Of course. Brutal.
But
really is.
The Scorpion once again can start countering the Nightingale too. So, but other things with the next update, I do expect that we will also see the changes to pilots that have been on the test server. I don't, even though they were on the test server again this weekend, I think they're still going to go ahead and press forward and release it. That's just my own thoughts on it. There's nothing written in stone that's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. As well as the rebalance to the energy machine guns. I think both of those things will come out with the next update.
Yeah, I was watching Mix Font's video where he went in. I guess he had his pilot already maxed out. It was all gold too, and then he went out and switched out a skill, and they went right back and switched the skill back to what he previously had it, and the skill that he once had at gold goes all the way back to level 1. So that was a really little interesting video with it that he put out. It's just, what it seems like once you get a pilot set on a particular bot, you don't ever want to change them again. I'm just not liking that at all.
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of people lose a lot of gold that are used to the pilot retraining feature that we have currently, which isn't too terrible the way it is right now. But for those folks that like to retrain their pilot skills every time they switch out that robot's weapons to try and beef up the weapons, I think we're going to see fewer people actually using weapon-specific pilot skills because it just doesn't make any sense to do so, because then you're kind of trapped at that point using those weapons, and if anything changes on those weapons, they get nerfed or you just get better weapons that you want to use, you're kind of screwed. So I think most folks are just going to stick with the robot-specific abilities on their pilots from here on out. At least that's what I would recommend to folks, because it's just going to cost way too much gold to retrain anything. And I know that they said, oh yeah, we're going to grandfather you in, we're going to give you the tier 2 or tier 3, whatever it is, if you already have it that way. But hopefully those of you that are watching this stream right now are making some changes to your pilots now, like within the next couple of days, and getting them where you're going to want them forever. Because if not, it is going to be real expensive for you.
Yeah, I'm kind of buzzing as quickly as I can through my 2 new pilots that I have for the Ravana. Those are strictly more for the team aspect of playing. Because I definitely don't want to get caught on tier 1 and then having trying to level them up. That would be horrible. So if you guys are working on a particular legendary pilot, you might want to get them up to par before this thing hits, if you possibly can. And I'm not saying go out and drop gold. I'm saying go out there and game it up.
Right. And I mean, like me personally, I've been running a Fenrir, for forever, and I always had a regular pilot on it because it just didn't make any sense to use the legendary pilot. It wasn't worth it to me. But now I have to pretty much I had to put a legendary pilot on there, just because if I don't do it now, it's gonna end up being real costly, because that pilot change also gives you 1 extra ability as well as a whole extra tier to all of the legendary pilots. So
the legendary pilots are going to have a total of 8 skills. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because I was having that debate and they kept telling me, no, it's still going to be 7. I was like, no, it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not.
You know what's going to be scary, though? Once you get up to promote that pilot to its last tier or its last skill. I mean, because right now with 7... it costs 7,500 gold for, to go from level 60 to 61 just to unlock your final ability. And now there's going to be 8. So what's it going to be? 10,000 gold? I mean, that's just insane, in my opinion. So I don't know. I'm personally, I'm not a fan of the changes to pilots, but it's coming. There's nothing we can do about it at this point. Yeah, I think that's... Oh, and a new map. A new map is the only other thing that I'm aware of that is coming out with the next update. And that is the... what is it? Mine? Is that what it's called? Or no, Mine is the one that we're testing now. This is... gosh, I don't even remember the name of the map.
Which one are you talking about, Chief?
The new map that's coming out.
Oh, the one with the one we're getting, or the brand new one that we're testing?
No, the one we're getting.
Factory.
Yeah, factory. That's it. Thanks. My memory's been slipping a lot this last week. But
Look at those.
yeah, so I think that's the only other major thing that I'm aware of that we are going to be getting this update. I don't know if any of you in chat have heard of anything else or suspecting anything else. Ruguru says, Chief, please mention Eddie's pilot video. What pilot
video?
Yeah. Do you have a video where you're recommending how to upgrade a pilot or level out a pilot? I don't know.
Which one are you talking about, partner? Be a little bit more specific. Which pilot video?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You actually make me go back and look at my YouTube. Go check out, see what he's talking about.
I don't know. I was going through my pilot inventory and I'm like, wow, I've got like a couple level 60 Adrian Chong pilots just sitting, not even being used by anything. I'm like, man, I might have to look and find a robot to stick those on before this change comes in.
Yeah, I still like the Adrian Chong. It's got that universal skill. I'm just really a fan of that particular one.
Ruguru said the skills. I don't know. Did you make a pilot skill video?
Oh, yes, I did. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can bring that one up. I'm not sure if it was one of my newsrooms or which one it was. I'll tell you what, if we can let them, Chief, just have them put a link in the chat there.
Yeah. Yeah. He should be able to put one in there. He's a moderator. So yeah, I mean, go ahead and link the video if you want, Ruguru.
That'll be great, partner. Because right now I have to start digging through my library.
Right. What's up, Owen? He's asking what the stream is about. It's about War Robots. I don't know if you're a War Robots player or not, but we're just talking about the incoming update. Should be hitting next week sometime, and a couple of other topics. The Nucleon, Quarker, and Atomizer buff, I believe, is going to be coming as well.
We knew that there was a buff coming for specifically the Nucleon, because it was just terrible. I'm not going to say it was garbage.
No,
I'm not going to say it was garbage. Okay, but it's not. It didn't meet the standard OP aspect that we thought it was going to have. All right. I mean, everybody was kind of gunning for the Nucleons. A couple of people got them. A couple of people maxed out, and we're like, "Damn, you know what the hell did I just get? This thing doesn't have any kick to it." And they used them just because they maxed them, but it wasn't very long before they went back into their hangar and put back some more of the traditional weapons that we have. So, yeah, we knew this buff was going to be coming because it was just a little bit too weak, you know. So we'll see that coming, and it should get a little bit more love than what it has right now.
Right. Now, the buff that they're getting is not only a damage buff, but also changing how the overheat works, which I was surprised to see personally. I thought they would just try buffing the damage and make it easy, but no, they're actually giving it a double buff, changing the way the overheating works on them. And I think if they just did that change and didn't even give them a damage buff, I think they would be good. But doing both, they're going to be definitely worth putting on your robots. So if you're not leveling them up already, I would highly recommend that you might consider leveling up the Nucleons and the Quarkers, because they're both getting a huge buff. And the Atomizers too are getting a buff, but not nearly as big, but they are all going to be getting, I think, what is a huge buff just in changing the the way the overheat works. It takes like twice as long to overheat, and they're still way more accurate even when they are overheated.
Yeah, at point blank range, it doesn't matter what the accuracy is or how bad the spread is, because you're just going to hit everything. But they are a solid counter to the Ravana storms. If you get a Ravana chasing you and you have your atomizers and you can find him going backwards, you're going to chew that Ravana up really quick, guys. It's a great counter, especially if you have the range. Yes, the shotguns have 500 meter range, but they're very weak at 500, 400, 350, 200 meters. They're kind of weak, all right? They got to be up close and personal to have the effect that they have right now in the game. But if you have a Ravana chasing you, and normally they do tend to chase because they have so many phase shifts, okay? If you can play them going backwards, you can chew them up every time they come out of that ability, and it's really fun to play it if you play it right.
Well, I have atomizers and a glory on my Fenrir, and that's my Ravana counter. They're usually I don't wait for them to go backwards. I wait for them to come up close, and then I just mash on that button and don't let up, and they die. It's great, because at some point they're going to have a split second in between their ability uses and their phase shift, and every time they do, I just take a big chunk of health off of them, and it's great. But yeah, I think that is pretty much it for the update. We might see some surprise stuff in there. I can't really give you any specifics about surprises, but I have had my sources kind of tell me that to expect something in the near future, some kind of big info to be released. Still waiting on that info, but definitely you want to make sure you're subscribed either here or Islanders or any of the other featured YouTube channels, because when they drop these big pieces of info, they usually give us the heads up first. Not exactly sure what it's going to be, though.
Roru, folks, I couldn't find it, but here's what Eddie said. Do not use pilot skill. Oh, I remember that video now. Yes. Do not use your pilot skills that include weapon skills. Yeah, so that's kind of what you were saying earlier, Chief. Be cautious, especially since you're going to have to change them. I've always tried to make mine universal to be towards the robot itself.
Right.
So that when you change it, you don't have to be changing weapons or you change weapons on your bot, it doesn't affect it at all, because everything is geared towards the robot itself.
Right. Matisse is asking, when is the update? We don't know 100% for sure, but we expect it's going to be sometime this week, with just the way everything's lining up, with the current event fixing to end in the next day and a half or so. I expect the next or the update to probably hit, I would say probably Wednesday or Thursday of this week. Okay, so moving on. Some other topics that we're going to discuss here is we'll go on to targeting, since that's, I don't know if it's an easy one to talk about, but they are finally listening.
It needs addressing.
Huh?
It's definitely something that needed addressing. The targeting system has been something else for a long time.
Targeting system has been totally broken for a very long time, and only getting worse. Like, at least for me, like, it's been noticeably worse, probably since update 6.0, maybe even the update before that. But it was on the test server. They didn't specifically say what they are adjusting to, or the targeting system or anything like that. They didn't get anything specific, but I did get on there briefly, and it does seem to be a little bit more consistent, at least as far as the manual targeting. When you hit your button and you want to specifically target a robot, it actually cycles through all of the robots in the direction you're facing, instead of only hitting the one or two robots and then totally skipping the Ao Ming that's like directly above them or something like that. but they're at least looking into it, which I think is great, because I know they did mention in a recent dev stream that something like the targeting system is like a really big undertaking as far as trying to make adjustments to it. And I can kind of see that. I'm not a coder, I'm not a developer, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I can only imagine it's not as simple as just, we think it might be. But hopefully it is something that they can make some improvements on, and more than just the manual, because I do think that they're only currently adjusting the manual lock-on, but I don't know what all has changed. Have you had a chance to get on test server today or yesterday, Islander?
No, I sure didn't. Of course, I have my frustrations, and it's with the targeting system. And it's really easy, Chief, to sit there and for us to play armchair quarterback and say what they should do, what they need to do. It's a lot different for them to go in there and have to actually figure it all out. Okay, but we know that if you're fighting a robot that is 200 meters from you, all right, and you're not using your lock-on targeting, and you do not lock that target, all of a sudden it decides to target a robot that's 700 meters behind him, right? Or it's just horrible. Or the universal, if you ever played the spiral bot, God, I went blank there. The vortex, right when you're about to fire, it switches targets to another robot that was not your intended target. Those were the early frustrations of the whole targeting system, and now not being able to target, something that's flying right above you, like a Titan or something like that. It's gotten worse and worse. This is something that they should have addressed a long time ago and kind of tweaked around the way. But it's like I said, it's a lot easier for us to say that, than somebody to actually go there and figure out all that coding for it.
Right. And the Dark Light, the targeting system is yuck. And it is absolutely yuck. But there's also a lot of players that don't even use the manual lock-on button, which is kind of weird. I think that by default it's not even on the UI, which I think that would be something that I would recommend they change. At least put it on by default so that people don't have to find out a year and a half, 2 years after they've been playing the game that there is a manual lock-on button. But I would highly recommend everybody use the manual lock-on button always for every single robot you're attacking, because if you don't, man, it just bounces around all over the place. And if you're using something like a lock-on weapon, something like Scourge or Spark, and it just jumps to some random robot 1,000 meters away out of range, you just lost your lock-on completely. And you've got to wait that 1.5 to 3 seconds again to start shooting, which by that time you're probably going to die. So hopefully you guys will, or everybody here is versed enough in the game to be using that, but I definitely can't recommend that enough. Use the manual lock-on, especially if that is the only thing they're tweaking right now. I'm sure it's pretty complex to do the regular targeting, to teach the computer, when to switch to robots and to prioritize, which robots. Personally, I think you shouldn't auto aim to any robot that's outside of your weapon's range. If that was even a possibility. I don't know if that's possible with them to program it like that, but I would make that recommendation, because it just seems silly that, it would automatically jump to somebody that's out of the range of your current weapons. But I don't know. I know there's a lot of people that are angry and get angry with this game based pretty much on the targeting system.
And it's completely understandable. It really, really is.
Oh, it frustrates the hell out of me, especially when I'm like doing everything in my power to, use the manual lock on, and I'm trying to switch between the, and find the target that I need to find. But for whatever reason, I have to hit the button 20 times before I can target. And it's especially brutal for a flying robot, something like an Ao Ming. I'm trying to, hit the button, trying to target lock onto the Ao Ming, and half the time after 20 presses, it finally goes on him, but hey, he's out of range by that point. So it sucks. And some maps are definitely worse than others. Any kind of map that has a big difference in elevation, it seems to be worse. Like Dreadnought, if you're going to up the ramp to go inside the spaceship, and there's anybody up on top of the roof, I mean, your target is going to be moving around all over the place. It's just crazy.
If you think that's frustrating, Chief, you need to go ahead and just try it on a Nodens and try to target one of your Titans when there's a standard bot anywhere close to the vicinity.
Right.
It seems to go for the lower targets first. So trying to target the bots that you want to target to try and heal for your team is something else. And if you're constantly switching, it tends to jump to the smaller bots first before it ever targets the Titan. And you get yelled at a lot by your teammates asking for heals, and there's no way you could actually target them. So.
All right, so I got a super chat from Roger M saying that he found out about Lock On about 3 months ago, over a year after playing. and I mean, I've known about it for a long time, but I know when I first started playing, it was months before I knew how to activate the manual lock-on button, or even change the sensitivity of the game. And I would see people on YouTube, videos showing, and they're target locking, and I'm like, how are they able to switch targets? I didn't understand. Finally, I stumbled across it, but I mean, I think something like that needs to be defaulted to the on position. Anyway, yeah, that's just crazy. What do we think about that? Oh, yeah, Don Gamber. Thanks for that question, because I forgot about those. I do think those are actually coming too. The new modules, the jump, he's talking about the active modules for jump and dash, as well as the module for what is it called, disguise unit, that kind of forces any robot into a stealth if you lose too much health in too short of a period of time.
A stealth that cannot be targeted by quantum radar.
Right. I think that I think that module just needs to disappear. Personally, I think it's not needed and definitely not wanted. It's just especially because it's a module that you have to purchase and use. It is a passive module. It's just another module that makes people invincible for a limited amount of time, and we've already got modules like that. We don't need more. I think we've covered that in previous streams and discussions. As far as the jump and the dash, I mean, I'm not a huge fan, especially because it's going to cost power cells. I think from a money standpoint, they're pretty damn smart for coming up with something like that, because it is going to get people to really spend and eat through a ton of power cells just to use it. And once you get used to your robot having an ability like a jump or a dash, it's kind of hard for you to just play without it. So from a marketing standpoint, they're probably pretty smart for doing that. But as far as me personally, I don't see me using it. I don't see it being game changing. We could go without it, but it is going to be interesting for some of the older robots that may not have very strong abilities. It might make them fun to screw around with, but not really too important as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. For some of the bots, I mean, it really makes it a lot of fun. I think out of everything out there that I've used, I think using the jump button on the Loki, all right, being able to get me from the ground to an upper level really quick uh, was a plus. Now, am I willing to trade that out for a phase shift or something that's going to help my Loki survive longer? I don't think so. I think I would probably stick uh, with the phase shift or the advanced healer for the Loki, just for survivability as far as clan play. But as far as fun play, messing around, oh, the jump button is going to come in real. I mean, the jump module is going to come in real handy. It really is.
Right. And I do think that, some people are going to have some fun with it, and that's cool. But I would caution anybody to just don't go overboard with it, because I have a suspicion that they're not going to be super cheap to use. They're going to seem like they're cheap, even if they come out and they cost 20, power cells. I mean, think about that. If you had to pay 20 power cells every time you used your regular robot's regular ability, you'd be broke in power cells in a heartbeat. So that's I would just be careful. But they could definitely, I think, I could see some people having some fun with it. Let's see. Oh, before we keep going, we've got over 100 people watching and only 48 likes on this thing. Come on, hit that like button.
What's up, fellas? Come on now. Somebody go on there and smash that like button. Y'all got to be kidding me now.
Well, let me see. John Strider was asking, and it's a little off topic, but kind of on topic at the same time. What is the optimal sensitivity? Personally, every time I look at sensitivity, I turn it all the way down. But I also use a controller, and I adjust my sensitivity through my controller. But even before I used a controller, I would always turn my sensitivity all the way down. But it's personal preference. Just play around with it.
Yeah, I to be honest with you, I don't even know where mine is at. I've been playing this game so long that whenever that was there or whenever it was inserted, whatever they started it at is where I left it, because it's how I know how to play the game. So I think for me to start adjusting my sensitivity now would probably just frustrate myself, because it's not something that I'm used to.
Right. But yeah, definitely just play around with it. Open up a custom game and hit the menu button up in the top right corner and play around with it. You'll find a good sweet spot. Darklight says, smash the like button, not the phone. I agree. Don't break your phone. All right. So, yeah, I mean, I think as far as overall the big takeaway from them making some adjustments to the targeting system is, I think it's good that they're making some headway on it, because this has been a problem for who knows how long. I would like to see them continue the development of it, though, and not just kind of make the manual target lock button a little bit more efficient and then just forget about the rest of targeting. I think they need to take a real hard, deep look at the targeting system as a whole, and I would love for them to allow us to target things that are above us. Oh my gosh, they put flying robots in the game, but we can't look up. That's a problem. But anyway, that's also a discussion for another day.
Oh, goodness.
All right, so the other topic that we had on the agenda for today was the what was it? Oh, matchmaking system. Another favorite discussion topic for everybody.
Yeah.
So earlier last week, Pixonic released a short video trying to kind of briefly explain the matchmaking system, which I think is good, because I think there is, no matter how many times any of us YouTubers have explained how matchmaking works, a lot of people still don't really understand it. I thought the video was okay. They kind of I think it was just a very basic overview. I'm pretty certain there's a whole lot more that goes into matchmaking than what they discussed in their video, but it was a good starting point, because I know matchmaking, um, aside from targeting and lag, I think matchmaking is probably the next biggest complaint that most people have playing this game. So, um, as you know, and we've talked a little bit about matchmaking here in the past, but yeah, Elio says matchmaking still is full of bananas. I wouldn't say that. I would probably say something a little more derogatory, but you know, we'll go with that. Matchmaking is full of bananas, and I agree. Though it has drastically improved with the larger player pool. I know there's some folks out there that are still, you know, complaining about running into full squads when they're running solo, and I agree, it is still a problem. But you know, for me personally, I have that happen maybe once a month now instead of multiple times a day. So I think it's been drastically improved over what we had prior to the platform merger. And we've always had or we have discussed previously that 30-second or 29-second magic number that you're looking for when you are in a match or matchmaking queue. So they kind of did explain that a little bit in their video as well, which I think was good. I don't think we need to go too much into detail about that, but if you're running into some tough matchups, you know, and your wait time is reaching over 30 seconds, you know, maybe just get in the habit of stopping the search and restarting it anytime you get up close to 30 seconds.
Yeah, that works really good for the people that are running in full squads. You know, if you're running a full squad and you're trying to avoid randoms, you know, don't let that clock get to, or the count off get to 30 seconds. Stop at 27, restart your search again. That way you have another brand new pool to find a squad of at least 3 or more players. Okay, the idea is to try to get squad versus squad. That's the whole purpose of the game, is to play clan versus clan. But, well, that's not the whole purpose of the game. But if you're running a squad, that should be your purpose, not to go out there and take your full team and get 6 random players that don't know how to play together. So yeah, that 30-second mark is definitely a plus. And if the more people were to apply it, you would have less of random players running into full squads. As a matter of fact, that should almost somewhat eliminate itself. And if you do, you should have a squad of at least 3 to 5 players with you when you drop.
Right. Well, and that's, I think honestly that is somewhere where I think that Pixana could probably do some additional improvements with Matchmaker, because they still consider 3 players in a squad equal to a full squad. And man, they are not equal. Far from it. And it's kind of sad, because a lot of times I might see somebody else that's online. You know, normally for my streams I duo, because, you know, I'm in a smaller clan these days, but you know, when I do have another friend that's online, you know, I would like to run a squad of 3, but as soon as you have 3 people in your squad, you're going to match up against a full squad every time. And it sucks. I think that they that I would think is a simple adjustment they can make, but once again, I am not a developer, so I don't know how complex it is, but I would really like to see that change. I could see, you know, a 5 squad getting matched against a 6 squad, because yeah, I mean 5 is it's pretty darn close to a full squad. But I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. If you are trying to avoid full squads, though, just don't squad above a duo, because if you do, you're going to run into a lot of full squads. Denicky says, matchmaking sucks when you know you're going to lose at the start by just looking at the enemy team and comparing it to your allies. I get what you're saying. Heck, I was playing with Zarathustra last night. We dropped into a match, and it was on Canyon, and the first teammate that I saw was a Butch Trebs. And I was like, oh, this is going to suck. We got a Butch Trebs on our team. We ended up winning, but I mean, yeah, you're basically down a player. And that does happen. I know that, and in Pixonic's video, they did say that they do prioritize, speed of matchmaking. They don't want people sitting around waiting too long in Matchmaker. And I get that this is a mobile game. A lot of people are probably just jumping on. They have, a spare 10 minutes. They want to get a quick game in. They don't want to wait, a minute and a half, 2 minutes to match up. So I understand, speed of matchmaking being important, but I would kind of like to see that expanded a little bit. Maybe give, squads, a longer period of matchmaking before it starts expanding out to put them against randoms. Or even, instead of, just shoving random people in 2 seconds or 3 seconds into the queue, and finding out that you're a high champion player and your whole team is made up of masters, because it just wanted to get the game started super fast. Maybe expand it out just a little bit so that people have a higher chance of getting teamed up with people in their same level, as well as opponents. I think adding 10 seconds onto it wouldn't be enough to break the game. I don't want to say this guy's name, but Jormungandr. I don't know if I said that right. Probably not. But anyway, he said that if you squad with 3 or 4, domination is the way to go, so you don't get spawn rated in BR by full squads. And that is another point. I think the mode that you're choosing also does come into play somewhat, as far as how you're going to be stacked against the other team. However, keep in mind that domination is still full of, there are some clans that specialize in domination. That's all they play. So there are a lot of squads still in domination, but probably not as many as BR.
American Monster. I wish boosters would stack when squatting and non-clan members. I agree with you there. I don't know why, if you're in a squad, your boosters cannot assist the people that cheer in that group with. I'm not sure what goes into that, or why it's locked down to only clan members, but that's a good point. That would really help a lot more people form up squads if their boosters could help each other.
Yeah. And there's no reason why they shouldn't. That bonus should go to everybody on your team, not just who's in your clan or in your squad.
Right.
It's not really in your clan, it's whoever's in your squad. But then again, it also does kind of, I guess, promote the idea of people trying to squad together. So, I guess there's also an argument for that. What's up, AD Gaming? Thanks for dropping by.
What's going on, AD?
Yeah, I think there's some plenty of improvements that can be made to the boosters all around. I'd like to see them go the same way as the OXP booster that you get in operations, where it's active for X number of matches that you drop into, rather than a time. I think that would be a huge improvement.
I think that would be awesome. I really do. If we could get some type of booster like that, where it'd be good for 4 games, instead of just 30 minutes. Because I mean, if you have to get up from your device for whatever reason, you know, I mean, once you activate that booster, you're stuck to that device for 30 minutes if you want to maximize out of it, you know, versus 3, 4, maybe 5 games or booster set. I think that would.
Yeah, I would love to see that change come into the game, though I don't imagine we'll ever see it. I mean, we could. You never know.
Hold on, Chief. I need to reset my disc.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Yeah, and just like God of War was saying that the problem is if you expand on the time frame for matchmaking, then boosters are going to run out. So they need to make the boosters, you know, like we said, a number of games rather than the amount of, or a certain amount of time. I know personally, when I play, I can usually get about 5 matches in on a 30-minute set of boosters. Sometimes a 6th if have some quick matches, but I mean, I would even be okay if each booster lasted only 4 matches, if it was a set number all the time. It's always 4 matches. I think that would be just perfect. Mix Fan said, I'd like to see them make players able to reconnect to a game after disconnecting. That way players who exit a match are forced to come back in or wait 10 minutes for the match to finish.
I'm down with that. I think that would go a long ways to avoid tanking. I mean, that's I could see that work. You know, that's a hell of an idea. I mean, if you drop into a match and you cannot drop out and get into another match because you were, you know, in a match, you got to wait. That's going to prevent a lot of taking, I would believe.
It could. I know there are some games out there that have something similar to that. Maybe not the full duration of the match, but, you know, if you leave a match early, it makes you wait, you know, 3 minutes before you can search for another one or something like that. I mean, personally, I don't really ever leave matches, so it's just, but it would be funny. I think there'd be a lot of pissed off people, though.
Well, there would only be pissed off tankers. You know, let's be honest. The people that are out there playing and enjoying the game are not going to be upset about it.
Well, that's not entirely true. I know at least some YouTubers that would probably be pretty upset too. Because, you know, I'm not going to say who, but there are some very popular YouTubers that like to leave matches because it's not a map that they like to play on.
Well, then whoever it is going to have to deal with it. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
It's for the betterment of the community. It's for the betterment of the players. It's not to improve somebody's YouTube channel.
Right. You know what else would combat tankers?
Tell me.
Making the champion crate worth something?
Yeah, I agree. You know, the champion crate giving you just 500,000 silver is, you know, nowhere close to where it was when it first came out. You know, you got silver, you got gold, you got keys, you got whatever you got all kinds of cool stuff in it, you know, and now, man, it's blah.
Well, I'm not even talking about that chest. I mean, that one's laughable, but I meant more like the actual battle rewards crates.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could see them actually improving on that as well. I mean, if you were to just throw some platinum in there, maybe some gold, I don't know, cheap. I mean, you gotta make it tempting to be in Champion League. And right now, it's just not tempting.
You are correct on that. It's more tempting to be in Master League than it is Champion League.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that way. All right, so Anyway, I'm going to open it up here to last minute questions and stuff. We'll look at wrapping it up here over the next few minutes, but I want to make sure that we give a chance to answer any questions or comments or anything you guys might have. But as I've been doing the past few podcasts, I want to highlight a smaller YouTube channel that is, putting in the work and putting in some good videos for war robots. And this week, I have a treat for you guys, because some of you are probably familiar, many of you are familiar with this YouTuber. Many of you like this YouTuber and were probably subscribed to him at some point in the past, but he closed down his War Robots YouTube channel and he started another one. That's Foggy. So there's a link to his actual current YouTube channel. He does still make some War Robots content, but he shifted. He's no longer, a featured YouTuber through Pixonic. He doesn't have a Battle Rec account. He doesn't even have his regular Champion League account that he used to have. He is strictly free to play now, and the content that he puts out is still pretty good. He still puts out really good information and breaks down a lot of stuff for you guys. So definitely stop by, drop a like, drop a sub. He's got a really small channel now, so definitely hit him up.
Yeah, I believe he has a Foggy Viking Ops. There you go. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, that's where he's at now. I mean, Foggy has been a member of this community as far back as I can remember. He decided to break away from I guess the whole influencer type deal. All right, and he had his reasons for doing that. But Foggy's still an amazing person, a great YouTuber. So y'all need to take the time, go there, hit that link, and go there and check him out. Who else do we got for him, Chief?
What's that?
I said, do we got somebody else who we're going to feature?
No, Foggy, isn't that it?
Oh, okay, that was just Foggy. All right, I thought we had another one there.
No.
You know what? Let me go and take the time real quick, because this particular YouTuber is about 22, 23, 24 subscribers away from hitting the 500 mark. We have mentioned him in the past, all right? That's Mixed Font Gaming. So y'all take the time to go over to Mix's channel and help him hit that 500 milestone. He is like right there. He is just the needle thread away from hitting that 500. So y'all go show Mix a little bit of love if you have not already subscribed, and help him get to that 500 mark.
Yeah, I'll pull up a link for his channel as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've featured him a couple of weeks ago, but
Yeah.
nearly got him to his goal of 500 subscribers. And the reason why 500 is important to some of the, especially the War Robots YouTubers, is because of the new War Robots YouTube program, where it just recognizes a lot of work that the smaller YouTube channels are putting out there, for the game and the community. Can throw them a little bit of gold or something like that each month. So but there is a 500 subscriber minimum, so definitely hit that out. AD, yeah, we'll hit that one up in the near future. I do want to limit it. I do want to only put one of these out a week, because I really do want to focus mainly on trying to help out one of the small creators each week. But there is no shortage of good YouTubers out there with growing channels, and if there is one that you guys would like to see get featured in a future podcast, reach out to myself or Islander. Let us know the person's link. I do personally subscribe to a number of the smaller channels myself, and that's where usually I end up finding a lot of content. But anyway, yeah, just reach out to myself or Islander. Preferably, I do want to feature a YouTuber that has consistently put out videos for the community. Okay, so for War Robots, and preferably one that actually talks. Not that I don't like some of the content from some of the YouTubers that don't actually talk, but it's very difficult sometimes to convey information, and that's kind of a big step for a YouTuber to actually throw their voice down on a video and get it out there. So I want to recognize as many of those folks as I can. All right, so there's the link to MixFans. You know, get him the last 20-something subs to his channel. Help him reach his goal, and then make sure you guys drop by to Foggy's as well. But anyway, any last minute comments or questions that you guys might have for us, definitely drop them in the chat now so we can go over that for you guys. Boss Lady made a good point too a few minutes back. She said that people would be less likely to bail on a match if the boosters were changed to a certain number of matches, and I agree. That would also help prevent people from leaving.
Good point. Yeah, that is a very good point. Are you there, Chief?
Yep. Trying to.
Okay, I want to make sure my Discord did not cut out again.
No, I'm just trying to keep up here with the. I want to make sure I'm back reading some of the chat here.
Okay. Have you heard anything new about the cryo nerf? What cryo nerf? No, partner. I haven't heard anything regarding a cryo nerf. They have just been released. So I would be expecting something like that to occur in the next 8 to 10 months, if it does happen.
Yeah, I think the reason people are suspecting cryo weapon nerfs is because the test server, and this is something I've talked about in the past also, don't trust the numbers you see on the test server if it isn't something that they specifically asked you to test, because there is stuff that is so messed up on the test server. Just you know, but on the test server, some of the cryo weapons damage stats were lower than they are on the live server. But yeah, you can pretty much just ignore 90% of the test server. Let's see. It's coming. Everybody run now, according to Blitz. No, yeah, I don't think there's going to be a nerf. I do agree with Islander. It usually takes a good, 8 to 10 months before they really look to nerf something that's new, because they still want you to buy it, and they still want you to level it up.
Yeah, I mean, let's think about it like this. How long did we have the organs in effect before they actually nerfed them? All right, and that was basically because people were still getting them, people were still upgrading them. Once they had a healthy replacement for it, then it was time to nerf them down into the box. All right, and until we get a healthy replacement for the cryo weapon, don't expect any nerf, especially since people are still getting them, still earning them, still building them in their workshop, and still upgrading them. I will agree with you. Yes, a nerf is coming, just not anytime soon, partner. All right, well, let's keep it real.
Cinnamon said if you made boosters work per battle or per match, then you would lose every time you were spawn rated and the battle ended in 2 minutes. That might be true, but that doesn't happen as often as it used to. But I think people are definitely, and that's a legitimate point you're making, though. Absolutely it is. But, at the same time, I think there's a lot more people in the community that are affected by the loss of boosters, because technically you're still losing that 2 minutes plus the search time for 2 different matches, with the boosters based on time. So I mean,
I mean,
it's a loss of
he,
boosters
he,
either way.
here's an idea. Why don't we just get rid of the leave button?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think it's
I
tough to
mean,
justify getting
people are
rid of it
always
completely.
people are always gonna find a way around it, like running 5 core sacks and stuff like that. But it just, I don't know, Chief.
Yeah, I mean, people are, I mean, because there's nothing stopping them from just turning their phone off if they wanted to leave a match. And as it is right now.
But then you would have to reboot every time. And that would get old.
Yeah, that would. But, I mean, people do it already. I mean, there's plenty of people that leave matches frequently, and they do it either from, just closing the app, which I think usually when somebody leaves in the middle of a match, it's because they just close their app, and that happens a lot. Right now there is something in place, at least if somebody leaves the match at the start, I think it's within that first 30 seconds or minute is what they were saying, they get replaced, and it sucks when you're that person that gets shoved in that match that's already, a minute in. I've been there plenty of times and it does suck.
Myself too. Been there.
But, I would rather have somebody, get replaced if that happened than just be down a man the whole time. But what I would also like to see along with that is if somebody does get stuck in a match that started late, and they end up losing, that person shouldn't take any negatives. I think that, just like some of the other online games like Call of Duty, if there is, if you get added in late or after a match has started as a filler, and your team loses, your stats don't get affected by the loss. And I would like to see something like that come in as well.
Yeah. Got a little question here. A313M. Hey man, what pilot should I level up for the Nightingale or the Blitz? Go for their legendary pilots. For the Nightingale, you're gonna go with Virginia Walker. For the Blitz, I'm not sure. I can't remember what his name is right now, but get that legendary pilot. That's the one you want to be getting to level up. You want to go with their legendary pilot. Hope that helps.
No, that was a good point. Turbo Knight says, I don't see the point of the new stealth animation. I don't like it. I agree. Why do I need this big ball of snot around my robot because he goes into stealth? Or it's not just the stealth robots. I mean, there's a lot of new animations that are coming like that. The new Hawk robot, when he is, because he's not in stealth, but when he uses his ability, he gets that big ball of snot around him. Doesn't make any sense. But then again, that could be a feature that they're putting in now that is going to be used in the remastered. I don't know. But yeah, I don't really see a point to it. And I think it actually makes the game look just not as good. What's up, Deadly Killer? How you doing, man? Let's see. Wolf said boosters should only tick down while we're actually in the game, not in the lobby. That's another option. That's another good option. That might be even easier option than them making it, a per match thing. Definitely another good idea.
Yeah, I actually like that idea. I was a fan of that one on other games that I played before, where your boosters only are reducing time if you're actually in a match. So you actually get to use every second of your booster.
Sinnerman said, make the penalty for leaving or tanking a restart of a 10-minute timer, length of a match, or a gold cost to start sooner. That's a good idea, too.
There we go.
I mean, then if a tanker wants to jump right into another match, then sure, pay 50 gold or something.
There you go. Yep. Now that I can see where that would be an issue for somebody who, I guess, disconnected from a game, from a Wi-Fi disconnection. But you know, like you do in having other games, if you disconnect and you come back in, you first get the option to get back into the match that you're already in. Or if you want to start a new game, it's going to cost you 50 gold. Because you're just trying to tank. So that'll add up real quick.
Right. Karama Pardo was asking if Poe will be available in the store after the event. Honestly, I doubt it. I think they should. I mean, after they've been in 2 events that were a month long each, I think, you know, after 2 months of being in the game, I think it's time to go ahead and move them over to the store. But if Virginia Walker is anything to look at, I mean, she's been in event after event after event after event. So I'm kind of gonna lean towards Poe is probably going to be in the next event as well. No, 50 gold is not a lot. Man, if somebody wants to leave a match, they could wait 10 minutes or pay 50 gold. They should pay me 50 gold. How about that? Every person that ever leaves a match, if they want to start another match right away, they should always pay me, Chief, my account, 50 gold. I'm down.
Tell him, Chief. Get your gold. You have a mega maxed out account in no time at all.
Yeah, I'll be the only one with some maxed out pilots after this. All right, well, let me drop a link here one more time to this first link is going to be Foggy's channel, and then we'll drop another link here as well to MixFan's channel. Make sure you guys stop by, drop a sub to each one of those guys, let them know that Islander and Chief sent you, and I mean, they both put out some real good content, and make sure you stop by and do that for us. Much appreciated. But I think that is going to wrap it up for us. Pretty good discussion today. Appreciate y'all sticking with us and hanging out. And if you guys haven't yet, drop a like here on the video. I'd appreciate that too. Islander, thanks a lot again. Another good discussion.
Absolutely, Chief. We really do appreciate it. And stream, guys, we thank y'all every Sunday, guys. We do this for you guys. It's not for us. It's to come out here and have the camaraderie that we do with you guys. This podcast has continued to grow, and it's all because of you guys. So much love to each and every one of you for taking a little bit of time out of your Sunday to come and hang with me and Chief. It's greatly appreciated. Until we talk again, guys, much love.
Yep. Chief out.